Caplin. I'm running for county attorney, one of the two Republican candidates, and my friend Belnap to my left is the current county attorney. The reason I'm running is to stand for constitutionalist issues, to promote fiscal conservatism, fight crime, to listen to the public, and defend traditional values. And I'm just running on my issues. I'm not running against anyone else. Belnap and I just happen to be in the same race. But I was born here in St. George, Utah, 6th generation native St. Georgian. I got my first job when I was 13 laying tile down in Austin, Texas. That's when my family lived down there. I worked as an apprentice electrician for a few years, a few summers. Been an umpire. And the only thing harder than being an umpire is running for this office. There's a lot of criticism, a lot of pressure. However, other things I've done are served a mission down in Southern California. My first area was Compton, which was an interesting experience. Learned Spanish. And went to Dixie State University, earned an associate's degree, earned a bachelor's degree in economics from Southern Utah University, graduated summa cum laude, and a top economics student at my university. A master's degree in U.S. history, where I concentrated on civil rights, constitutional law, and legal analysis, and a Juris Doctor from BYU as well. I taught for a couple years at BYU, writing and rhetoric, and now I teach at Dixie State University, American history. I worked at Barney McKenna and Olmsted, which is a full-service law firm here in St. George and in Nevada. And I'm the city prosecutor for Hilldale, which doesn't mean I'm from there, but I do go out there about occasionally to prosecute cases. The real reason I'm running is I just have a passion for the Constitution of the United States. I think that people should have a choice, and I'm providing a choice and an opportunity and a vision. And if that resonates with people, I'm very honored to have your support. One of the beautiful things about the Constitution of the United States is that separation of powers clauses. Article 1 vests all legislative power at the federal level in the Congress, and Article 2 vests all executive power in the President at the federal level. And of course, Article 3 vests all judicial power in the Supreme Court, unless Congress constitutes lower courts. And that's one of the issues that's facing our county, our state, and our nation. And it really has very little to do with any of us individually. However, all of us individually and collectively can be a voice to preserve those separation of powers and to restore local sovereignty and local stewardship over our public lands.
Thank you for inviting me to be here. It's a privilege to talk to my Dixie Republican Forum friends. And I have a lot of Dixie Republican Forum friends who have told me that even though they think that I am great, they're not quite convinced that I have the passion for the Constitution. And I wanted to take a moment to talk to you. Every single day as county attorney, I uphold the Constitution. The Constitution is something I revere, and it is something that I work to uphold here locally. So I understand the passion that this group in particular has as conservatives who are upset by the way the world has turned upside down, and where what is wrong is right, and what is right is wrong, and how things are out of balance and it's out of whack. And I understand that you want a champion, someone who recognizes that, and someone who will go and fight for that. So, why is it that I am not standing up there and saying that's what I'm doing? I want you to know it's not for 1 minute because I don't support and uphold the Constitution. I recognize what's wrong with our country. I see that the separation of powers have been twisted out of bounds, that the regulatory system is out of control, that federal judges unilaterally, one person, overturn the will of the people. I get the frustration and the anger about that. But do you know what? As county attorney, champion to overturn on that. I cannot tell you that the truth is I'm going to lead a movement that will start here and grow elsewhere. And the reason why is because I understand from doing the job the constitutional, statutory obligations of the county attorney. Don't allow me to sit here and tell you that, as much as I would like to. What I have to do as county attorney is prosecute crime and give legal advice to the county commissioners that keeps all of us out of trouble, that keeps our taxes low. They set the agenda. Right now we're in the middle of great big land battles. We're fighting for local control. But that's an agenda that is not set by the county attorney. As much as my heart and passion is in it, I can't tell you that that's who I am or that's what I'll do.
All right, by the way, they know the questions that we're going to ask. We sent them an email, so we're not surprising them in any way, so they're aware of what we're going to ask them. So that, just so you know, the first question we have is, and Brock will be the first one to answer, and we will give him 2 minutes, followed by a 1 minute rebuttal. And so the first question is, what is your approach to prosecuting criminal cases, and what principles or policies do you follow? So take 2 minutes.
The county attorney's office prosecutes about 3,000 serious crimes every year. Every single one of them is different. The county attorney has the power of government to take away the liberty of an individual. That's an awesome responsibility, and it has to be exercised with great care and humility. The rules of professional conduct say that a prosecutor has the obligation to act as a minister of justice, not just an advocate. Well, what's a minister of justice? Unlike any other attorney, where you fight to win all causes, a prosecutor fights to do justice. They fight to find the truth. They fight to do what's right, and that includes respecting the constitutional rights of individuals, upholding the rights of victims, making sure that evidence is gathered in accordance with the Constitution and the law, and proceeding forward with prosecutions only when it's the right thing to do, and then seeking just punishment. That's what I teach my prosecutors. That's what we try to do in each and every one of our cases.
It presents an interesting set of facts each time I file a trespassing case. I know the county attorney knows that well with respect to various issues that arise in the administration of that trust, and also the fact that there's religious considerations out there as well. My philosophy on prosecution is to pursue justice impartially. That is the most important issue. And that's why someone like me, who's ethnically Jewish and religiously LDS, can go out to a place like Hilldale and be a total outsider, and the people still respect me. To an extent, they don't like me by any means, but they do respect me because I administer justice impartially without respect to anyone's religion, anyone's race, anyone's gender. And that is my first point in my first philosophy with respect to prosecution. Secondly is to maintain the rule of law. Each person should be subject to the rule of law equally. And third, to prosecute with integrity and maintain the integrity of our office out there. It's easier because, well, I'm the only prosecutor out there. And so generally I follow my guidelines and policy advice. The other thing is the county attorney serves in various roles, even within criminal prosecution. First, he's a public servant to the voters. The voters hire him or fire him. He's a public servant to them. He's also a partner with career prosecutors in the county attorney's office, which are extraordinary. And so is the civil division. Some of these gentlemen and ladies have extraordinary specialized knowledge. Finally, the county attorney has a collaborative relationship with law enforcement officials. Okay. And the county attorney also works within the judicial branch as an officer of the court to effect and promote justice.
This is a pertinent question for where we're at today. How can the county attorney best deal with the federal overreach or unconstitutional federal actions? And we'll give Nate the first chance.
I believe the county attorney's office can be the tip of the spear in defense of our constitutional liberties. And I have a proposal. It's true that it's not commonly recognized throughout the United States, but I think it's effective and it's resonated with people. It's not outside the bounds of the Constitution or statutory authority. However, it does exist with a change of perspective and vision. If we combine legal preparation, which we do a good job of now, but maybe even a little bit more aware of certain issues as they anticipate them, as they come down from federal agencies before the rule's finalized and promulgated, combine that tool in my right hand along with unified political pressure, and I think that will recharacterize the negotiation of our interactions with federal agencies. That's not suggesting that we file a lawsuit. Brock has mentioned that that's up to the county, and he's 100% right, and I've never suggested otherwise. I've only talked about preparation for litigation, because I can tell you in my private practice, when you're prepared and you have a likely outcome, upper and lower, it changes the whole character of the negotiations with the other side. If we combine that with unified political pressure, and there are a lot of elected officials who are lining up behind this and are willing to put their foot forward and show their political will, and I believe there will be more that will come along, this will be effective in weakening some of the stranglehold of these federal agencies upon our county. Do I think that it will turn to a movement? Absolutely. I have no doubt that Beaver County will adopt this, in Iron County, and maybe not Clark County, but others throughout the West. I know it's bold, but I'm not going to apologize for that.
Washington County right now is in the middle of fighting to maintain local control of our roads. We have a lawsuit pending that my office filed that's over 1,000 pages long, which seeks to maintain ownership in the people of Washington County of the backcountry roads. We spent the past 10 years gathering affidavits, assembling the evidence, and preparing for this lawsuit. It's groundbreaking, and it's going to make a difference for all of us and for our children and our grandchildren who'd like to continue to have access. Another thing that we're in the middle of fighting the federal government over is the Endangered Species Act and the desert tortoise. The Habitat Conservation Plan's permit is set to expire in less than 2 years. Right at this moment, we're in the middle of fighting to make sure that development can continue to move forward in Washington County. In addition, the federal government recently issued proposed regulations that would say that the dry washes are waters of the United States. We are joining with all different counties in Utah and throughout the Intermountain West to fight that. You can imagine what kind of impact that will have. I have experience fighting these battles. My legal team and I work every day in conjunction with our county commissioners to make sure that Washington County residents and our land remain ours. Washington County is at the forefront of the fight to ask that the federal government keep its promise to return the federal lands to Washington, to Utah. Alan Gardner is at the forefront of that fight, and Alan says that he needs me at his side fighting because of the experience that I've had with him, making sure that we are protected here in Washington County.
Those efforts, and I support them wholeheartedly. I also believe that we can improve and become even stronger locally. The Constitution of the United States set up sovereign states, and it set up a federal government. And the federal government's role in its constitutionally protected or set forth sphere is supreme, so long as it complies with the Constitution. But remember, that sphere is very small. The state sphere under the Constitution is huge. It's gigantic, and so is the local cities and the counties. And I believe that a change in perception, change in perspective, and vision can allow many other counties throughout the West to restore that proper small sphere of the federal government and the proper large sphere of states and the people. Turn to the 10th Amendment, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
One of the most important checks on power is the separation of powers. That's what's protected us, that's what the Founding Fathers anticipated. That's what they put in place to make sure that the problems we have with the federal government wouldn't get out of control. And those problems exist now. Here in Washington County, the people who set policy, the people who decide what our goals are going to be as a county are the county commissioners. The county attorney supports them, fights for them, and helps them carry out those goals. A person who wants to lead a movement should run for county commissioner or should run for state legislator. The job of county attorney is to prosecute crime and give legal advice to the county commissioners. That is not a cop-out, that is a reality, and that recognizes the separation of powers here locally. It is it's in case law, it is in the rules of professional conduct, and it is in state statute. I'm 100% on board, but you can't ask me to do it, because what if I were a Democrat? What if the county attorney were somebody, oh, sorry, my time's up, so we'll continue talking.
Okay, besides the prosecution and dealing with constitutional issues, what other roles does or should the county attorney have? Rob.
The county attorney's roles are specifically set out in statute. There's the role of prosecuting crime, and then there's the role of giving the county legal advice. And the county is the client, and who makes the decisions as the client? The elected county commissioners. So the county attorney doesn't set policy, the county attorney doesn't establish goals for the commission, the commissioners do. When you elected Victor Iverson and Zachary Renstrom and Alan Gardner, you elected them to set the policy and the course and the direction for the county. That's the way it is by law. And we all know that when someone tries to expand the balance or their office, that's what leads to problems. That's when things get out of balance. Now, in the prosecution side of things, that's where the county attorney has policy-making authority and the ability to set goals and to set the direction. And one of the things that I'm most proud of in that aspect is the collaborative nature that I have fostered with the county law enforcement community. We have worked together very, very hard to provide resources that improve our prosecution, that support victims, that help us focus on special needs victims, the elderly, children, sex abuse. We've got the drug task force that works so hard, and our drug court program, and now we've added a mental health court program, as well as we're just now starting a veterans court program. All of those are things that the county attorney can do within the realm of his prosecutorial side. But on the civil side, the attorney follows the lead of the client. He can encourage, he prepares, he gives accurate legal advice, but he doesn't lead. If the county attorney is a leader on that, then you have the problem of having someone who's not elected fulfilling a role that's beyond their authority.